You hadn't even turned the key all the way. The lock clicked, just clicked, and you could already hear it, the scramble. Paws on hardwood, that specific percussion of tippy taps that somehow communicates both joy and mild panic simultaneously. You open the door and your dog hits you like a small, warm freight train. No treats in your hand, no walk gear, nothing special about this Tuesday. And yet there they are, full-body zoomies through the hallway, pressing their entire weight against your shins before you've even put your bag down. A cold, wet nose finding your hand with the precision of something that has been waiting for exactly this moment. We call it a greeting. Their nervous system calls it something else entirely. Now, the obvious read here, the one most people land on, is that dogs are just excitable. Stimulus response. Good thing appears. Dog reacts with enthusiasm. Maybe it's boredom releasing. Maybe it's some leftover territorial instinct dressed up as affection. Huskies greet you like you personally owe them a written apology and a formal explanation of your whereabouts. Hugs greet you with that specific wheezing urgency that makes you genuinely unsure if they're happy or just medically overwhelmed. But regardless of the breed, theatrics, the common assumption is the same. This is enthusiasm. Simple, sweet, nothing deeper, except that's only half the truth. Actually, wait, no, it's less than half. Here's where behavioral science quietly complicates everything. Dogs go wild when you come home because they're happy to see you, but happy is the symptom, not the diagnosis. Excitement responses and attachment-driven relief responses look almost identical on the surface, but neurologically, they're different signatures entirely. Researcher Marta Gacci, extending John Bowlby's original attachment framework into canine behavior, found that dogs don't simply want your company the way they might want a treat or a toy. They require your presence to regulate their own internal sense of safety. You're not just a person they like. You are their external nervous system. Let that sit for a second. The Clever Dog Lab in Vienna has been studying this for years, and what they found maps almost perfectly onto what we know about infant caregiver bonds in humans. Dogs use their owners as a secure base, a psychological home base from which they explore, and to which they return when anything feels uncertain or threatening. A dog with a secure attachment to their owner shows measurably lower stress responses in unfamiliar environments when that owner is simply present, not doing anything, just there. You know that thing your dog does mid-walk where they check back over their shoulder to confirm you're still behind them? Short pause. That's not distraction. That's not them being easily confused. That's the secure base system running exactly as designed. You're the checkpoint. You're the landmark their nervous system uses to establish that the world is still navigable. Now here's the part that should probably make you sit down. If you are their safe place, their actual psychological anchor, then your emotional state isn't private. It's transmitted. Dogs read human stress through cortisol changes in sweat, through micro shifts in posture, through vocal tone, even through variations in heart rate. Research has shown dogs can detect owner anxiety before the owner has consciously registered it themselves, which means, look directly at camera and sigh. Every time you came home strung out, overwhelmed, running on 3 hours of sleep and 2 cold coffees, they felt that too. They didn't just notice it and move on, they sat with you in it. We talk a lot about what dogs give us. We talk much less about what they quietly carry for us. And the biology underneath all of this is genuinely fascinating. When a dog is near their primary attachment figure, oxytocin rises, cortisol drops, heart rate stabilizes. There's a 2015 study published in Science by Nagasawa and colleagues showing that even mutual eye contact between a dog and their owner triggers this hormonal cascade in both directions simultaneously. You regulate them. They regulate you. The system runs both ways. That specific moment when you're sitting on the floor with your dog, not doing anything, not training, not performing, just existing near each other, and you feel your shoulders drop about 3 inches, that's not coincidence. That's 2 nervous systems co-regulating in real time. You're probably shedding dog hair onto your laptop and there's a chewed-up sock somewhere nearby, and somehow it's the most grounded you've felt all week. And here's the evolutionary reason this exists at all. Proto-domestic dogs that formed deep person-specific attachments had real survival advantages. Better food access, shelter, protection. Over roughly 15,000 years, the capacity to bond with the specific human wasn't just selected for, it became the architecture of the species. Wolves trusted the pack. Dogs, somewhere along that very long road, decided to outsource the whole emotional regulation operation to one specific human in pajamas who feeds them at 7 a.m. and occasionally trips over them in the dark. Your dog's need for you as a safe place isn't emotional dependency in a clinical sense. It is the entire biological point. Now, and I need to say this, the old dominance-based training world had this completely backwards. The idea that emotional distance from your dog constitutes healthy leadership. That you are the alpha, they follow the structure, attachment is indulgence. Hold up a half-chew training clicker. The science has moved so far past dominance theory that most behavioral researchers won't even seriously engage with it anymore. And yet, somehow it's still in books, still in comment sections, still on YouTube. You don't build a safe place through authority. You build it through consistency, predictability, showing up the same way enough times that their nervous system begins to expect you. That's it. That's the whole architecture. And here's the subtle twist. I was going to say dogs love you unconditionally, which is true, but they are also simultaneously running a highly sophisticated continuous assessment of your emotional state. They're not passive recipients of your safety. They're active monitors of the person who provides it. Research on dogs distinguishing genuine from performed emotional states in humans suggests they know the difference between you being fine and you performing fine. I was going to put a graph here, but honestly, you probably already knew this without a graph. You've seen them tilt their head when something's off. You felt them press closer on a hard night. They know. So here's one thing worth trying this week. Not a training protocol, just presence. Get down to floor level, gesture toward the space in front of you. Sit on the floor, not the couch, the floor. Let them come to you. Don't reach for them. Just be still and stay there. Watch what happens to their body language in about 60 seconds. That's what feeling safe looks like from the outside. Back to that front door. Their nervous system calling something. Full circle answer. What it's calling is safe. Not your name, not dinner, safe. You became that without a training program, without a decision, without even knowing it was happening. Every consistent return, every calm voice when they were scared. Every time you showed up and were simply, reliably you were building something in them that has no off switch. Short pause. You didn't just give them a home, you became one. And the extraordinary thing is, you probably did it entirely by accident, just by staying. Here's what I want to know. What's the specific moment you realized your dog saw you as their safe place? Not the big dramatic stuff. The small, weird, particular moment. Mine involved a thunderstorm and a dog who became genuinely convinced the inside of my hoodie was a viable emergency shelter. Drop yours in the comments. I read them all. And next time, we're going into something that honestly surprised me when I found the research. Why your dog follows you from room to room, and what that behavior is actually telling you about the kind of bond you've built. Subscribe so you don't miss it.